Good day, everyone. I am Sir Jerickson S. Chua, and welcome to Empowerment Technologies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second lesson in Empowerment Technologies, which is the rules of netiquette. Let's try to ask ourselves the following question. Have you tried searching your profile in Google? Did you get links to your profile page? How did these things happen? How can search engines locate you? Is there any danger of being found by search engines? Our learning objectives: by the end of the lesson, the students should have identified the varying internet threats and ensure online safety and security measures, understand proper behavior when communicating online, apply computer ethics in dealing with computer tasks, use social networking sites responsibly, browse the internet efficiently and properly through proper referencing, use proper contextualized online search and research skills, and express the importance of online security, safety, and ethics. So let's proceed to our lesson discussion and try to answer the following question. How many hours do you spend on the internet per day? Can you live without the internet for a week? How many aspects of your life depend on the internet? How many times have you complained about your internet connection speed? Online safety and security. So it says here the internet truly is a powerful tool because it can be used to promote your business, gain new friends, and stay in touch with the old ones. It is also a source of entertainment through games, online communities, and everything in between. So let's proceed to how safe are you. So here are the type of information that we share online and what are the possible risks that is associated with sharing them on the internet. So the first one is your first name. So there is a risk in having your first name shared on the internet. Chances are a hacker may already know plenty of stuff about you, even if you only shared your first name. Okay, especially for those people who share their name which are unique. Okay, we also have their last name. If sharing your first name is a small risk, having both your first name and last name is more risky. You will be vulnerable to being searched for using search engines, which includes image search. Matching a name with a face is a modus to several cybercrime like identity theft. So basically, when we are sharing information, a nickname would be enough. Okay. Next, we also have your middle name. Sharing your middle name alone is probably not the most risky of this, but sharing your full name would be. It means that you will place your first name, middle name, and last name on the net. Okay, so don't do that because it's very risky. We also have current and previous school. Most people who steal their identity study their subject, and they will use this information for verification purposes. Your cell phone number should not be posted over the internet because basically the internet is a public place. It means that it is similar to posting your cell phone number on a billboard. Okay, so don't post your cell phone number online. Next, we also have the name of your mother and father. So risky, yet not as risky as posting your full name. Okay, especially your mother's maiden name because some accounts need the mother's maiden name for verification purposes. So don't post the name of your mother and father on the net. Name of your siblings. Disclosing this is a huge risk, and strangers may pretend to use this to dupe you. So be careful with that. Your address, hopefully answer to this one, no. And giving this on the internet, okay, would be another level. It would be much easier for criminals to find you. So when posting your address, you just need to place the municipality in the province. That's enough. So don't place the whole address. For example, the lot number, the Purok address, the barangay, and so on. So don't post the whole address on your social media accounts. Okay. Next, your home phone number. This shared information is more risky than sharing your personal number because scams usually come in this kind of information and deceive you. One of which is when a stranger pretends to know your parents or pretend to be you. Okay, so be careful in sharing your home phone number. Your birthday. Letting know your birthday is probably a must if you want to get as many gifts as possible, but having it in your profile makes you vulnerable to identity theft. Okay? Next, Next, okay, let's proceed to online safety and security. So it says here that the internet is so-called the information superhighway because this means that anyone has access to the highway and can place information and even grab those information. Any information, even things that have set privately may be accessed one way or another, especially that hackers nowadays have many things, okay, that can get your personal information online. Okay, so what are the tips to stay safe online now that we know what are the possible risks that we can get when sharing our information? So the first one, we need to be mindful of what we share online and what site you share it to, meaning we need to think before we click. Okay, next, do not just accept terms and conditions. You need to read it. Okay, meaning you just need to skim and scan, not necessarily reading it if you are in a hurry. As much as possible, try to read some of the important aspects of the terms of conditions. Next, we also have here, check out the privacy policy page of websites, and usually the different social media account has this. If you want to see what are the inclusions about your information, what can be disclosed and not, and what are the information that is getting of that particular website, you just need to check the privacy policy of that page. Next, know the security features of the social networking site you used to. Similar with privacy policy, the information can be seen on our account. Next, do not share your password with anyone. So meaning that we don't need to share it to our loved ones or our boyfriend and girlfriend. So just be careful with your password because anyone can have access on your account. Number 6, avoid logging into public Wi-Fi or networks. Browsing in incognito or private mode, a feature of the browser, will not protect you from hackers. Okay, so just be careful on browsing on the net. Next, do not talk to strangers whether online or face-to-face. Okay, never post anything about your future vacation. It is similar to posting, rob my house at this date. Okay, so be careful on posting about your future occasions. We also have here, add friends you know in real life. Okay, not just adding some stranger on the social media accounts that we have. Avoid visiting untrusted websites. So check the padlock part of the website if you can see some padlock, okay, on this particular website that is secured. But if you don't see this kind of icon, okay, check the privacy policy of that particular page. Next, we also have here, you need to install and update antivirus software on your computer. Use only one antivirus software to avoid conflict. Okay, so the antivirus that I usually use is Madav, and we also have ESET is another good antivirus that you can install on your computers. 12, if you have a Wi-Fi at home, make it a private network by adding a password so that other people will not connect to your Wi-Fi. Okay. Next, avoid downloading anything from untrusted websites. It is possible that hackers may also get some personal information on your laptops or computers if you do this. Okay, so be careful on the websites that you go to. Okay, and you have to make sure that is trusted. Next, buy the software. Do not use pirated ones, and do not reply or click links from suspicious emails. Especially, this can be used for phishing and farming activities, and even for downloading some Trojan virus to your PCs or laptops. So let's proceed to the 10 commandments of computer ethics according to Computer Ethics Institute. Number 1, thou shalt not use a computer to harm other people in any way. Number 2, thou shalt not interfere with other people's work. 3, thou shalt not sneak around in other people's computer files. 4, thou shalt not use computer to steal. 5, thou shalt not use a computer to bear false witness. 6, thou shalt not copy or use proprietary software for which you have not paid. 7, thou shalt not use other people's computer resources without authorization or proper compensation. Number 8, thou shalt not appropriate other people's intellectual output. 9, thou shalt think about the consequences of the program you are writing or the system you are designing. And number 10, thou shalt always use a computer in ways that ensure consideration and respect for your fellow humans. So, As students, we should be reminded of the commandments of computer ethics. So for our quote of the day, passwords are like underwear. Don't let people see it. Change it very often, and you shouldn't share it with a stranger. This is according to Place Perillo. So let's proceed to the different internet threats. So an internet threat is a threat that can be used on the World Wide Web to disperse, conceal, and update themselves with the intention of facilitating cybercrime. So we have here several internet threats. The first one is a malware or malicious software. So this is a virus which is loaded into a user's computer without the user's knowledge and perform malicious actions and can be transferred from one computer to another. So this can be done through your flash drives or your CDs and even your phones. Next, we also have a worm, which is a standalone malicious software that can self-replicate and propagate through computer networks without human help. For example, we have the I Love You worm or Love Bug worm, which is created by a Filipino. Okay, so this is done through the use of the email. So once you have clicked that particular email, the worm will self-replicate and later on your computer will shut down on its own. So the I Love You worm virus is a computer worm that is spread through email attachments in 2000. So I Love You worm was created by Onel de Guzman of the Philippines and infecting about 45 million machines worldwide, leading to more than 8 billion in damages. Okay, so imagine how he made a great impact on the different companies. Okay, before. Okay, another malicious software is what we call a Trojan. So a Trojan is disguised as a useful program, but once downloaded or installed, it leaves your PC unprotected and allows hackers to get into your information. So it's just a particular software, okay, that can be downloaded on the different app stores or the web, but be careful on the on installing those applications. Maybe it can be a Trojan, okay, if you download it from untrusted websites. We also have rogue security software. It's similar with Trojan, but it tricks you into posing that this is a security software. It asks the users to pay to improve his or her security, but in reality, they are not protected at all. So using the rogue security software, it may get your credit card details or debit card details. So be careful on downloading several security software online. We also have spyware, which is a program that runs in the background without you knowing it. Thus, it's called a spy. It has the ability to monitor what you are typing, okay, and currently doing through the use of the webcam that you have on your computers. Okay, actually, this was an issue in the US before where people, okay, see what you are doing through the webcam without you knowing it. Okay. Next, we also have keyloggers. This is used to record the keystroke done by the users, and this is done to steal the password or any sensitive information that you have on your phones or your laptops. Okay. Next, we also have adware. So these are usually that pops up on the different websites that you go to. So this is a program that is designed to send you advertisements, mostly by pop-ups. And some bots, okay, also do this to get your personal information. So be careful on clicking some adwares. Okay, number 2 internet threat is what we call as spam. So these are unwanted email, mostly from bots or advertisers, and it can be used to send malware. So be careful when opening some spam messages. It can be used to get some malwares. Okay. Next, we also have phishing. Okay, this the goal of this is to acquire personal information like passwords and credit card details through emails. Okay, so sometimes banks, okay, or other government agencies send some email on you, but be careful to check the email it comes from, because sometimes the some hackers may also use that as a means of getting the phishing activity. Okay, so another example of activity of an internet threat is what we call farming. This is a more complicated way of phishing where it exploits the DNS, okay, which is an example, which is PayPal that incorporated or domaining system. If you see this, there is a lock, while this one that hasn't have a lock. So if you check the privacy policy, this is more secure compared to this one. So this can be an example of a farming website. So be careful when checking the different websites. So in summary of the different internet threats, so we have malware. Under malware, we have virus, worm, Trojan or rogue security software, spyware or keyloggers, and adware. We also have spam and phishing and farming. So those are the different internet threats. So let's proceed to protecting our reputation online. So nowadays, embarrassing moments can be captured using any device that you have. Okay, even your smartphone can be used to do this. Okay, and this could impact not only your reputation but also the people around you. Okay, so sometimes, okay, some funny moments can be recorded through your phones, but be careful when posting it on the net because it can be degradable to his or her personality once you have posted it because many people will see it. Okay, so if you want to post it on the net, you just need to get the consent of that particular person before you post it on the different social media that you have. Okay. It says here that once you have posted something over the internet, search engine keep them in their archives for search results, and this makes anything you post to last forever. And says here the internet is forever. That's why it's always important to think before you click because all of the information that you will share on the websites or internet will just be there and it will not be deleted, even if you delete it on purpose. Okay. Um, those information will be saved in the different infrastructures or database from the different websites that you go to. Okay, so be careful on the things that you share on the net. It says here before hiring companies, do a background check on the applicant, and the easiest way to check your background is to visit pages that are related to you. Okay, so some companies now do social media checking, okay, to see what you are doing on your different accounts. Okay, think before you click, as I said a while ago. So it says here that before you post something on the web, ask this question to yourself. Would you want your parents or grandparents to see it in the future? Would you want your future boss to see it? Okay, so think about this question before you post on things. Two, your friends depend on you to protect your reputation online. Talk to your friends about this serious responsibility, and when sharing some information, please ask consent. Set your post to private as much as possible. In this way, search engine will not be able to scan your post. Avoid using names. Names are easy to search engines to scan. Okay, so think before you click. And then number five, if you feel that post can affect you or others' reputation, ask the one who posted it to pull it down or report it as inappropriate. Especially on the different social media nowadays where people are clicking some adwares and then some scandalous videos can be tagged on you. So be careful with that. Okay, so ask the person who posted it to put the post down. Okay, so that's how you protect the reputation online. Okay, so let's proceed to copyright infringement. So, meaning, when we say copyright, this is something that you create, an idea, an invention, or a form of literary work or research, and you have the right to as to how it should be used by others, because basically you are the one who created it. So this is also known as your intellectual property. So in other words, the copyright is a law that includes your rights over your work, and anyone who uses it without your consent is punishable by the law. So what are the things that we need to consider when avoiding copyright infringement? So the first one is we need to understand. Okay, so when we say understand, copyright protects literary works, photographs, paintings, drawings, films, music, and lyrics, choreography, and sculptures, but it generally does not protect underlying ideas and facts. Okay, so you need to understand first, okay, before sharing those personal information or those literary works. Next, be responsible. Even if the material does not say that it is copyrighted, it is not valid defense against copyright. That's why when researching online, we always say as teachers to get the references because basically that's one way of doing or avoiding copyright infringement. Okay, so when you search online, getting those ideas, okay, if you paraphrase and rephrase it, you need to still get the reference from it. Okay, because that's how we do or avoid copyright infringement. Okay. Third one, be creative. Ask yourself whether you are making it something that came from you or something made from somebody else's creativity. Okay, so that's why we need to rephrase and paraphrase. Okay, number 4, know the law. There are some limitations to copyright law. For instance, in the Philippines, copyright law only lasts for the lifetime of the author and plus 50 years. And there are also provisions of fair use, which means that intellectual property may be used without our consent. So if you see some logo like this, you may use the information but still cite the sources. So let's proceed to the 6 ways to avoid plagiarism. So we need to paraphrase, cite, quote, citing quotes, citing your own materials, and referencing. So it says here, promote your original writing, avoid plagiarism, and uphold academic integrity. So let's proceed to online research. So what is the difference between Madonna and the Madonna? So once you search these two information, it will give different results. So when we search Madonna, it means this is the singer, while the Madonna is the image of Mother Mary holding Jesus Christ. So in searching, we need to be specific because there will be some different information that will be gathered, okay, once we have click the button search on the net. Okay, so online researching, what are the tips that we need to consider? Number 1, you need to have a question in mind, meaning that you need to focus on the question you wanted to answer. If it's a series of questions, start with one and never search everything on the go. So be specific, just use the keywords in searching and then search your information. Next, narrow it down, meaning search engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo use several filters to determine the most appropriate result for you. So be specific, you need to narrow it down. Third, advanced search is also one of the feature of different websites. This is the best way to filter information you get from search engines, and this is by using the advanced search, and this will allow you to filter out information you need. Okay, so this is the advanced search in Google. So you may search all these words, these exact words are phrase, any of these words, none of these words, and number ranging from, and so on. So you just need to click or search on Google Advanced Search, and then this will pop up in your browsers. Number 4, you need to look for credible sources. Okay, not all information on the web is credible. So some wikis are not credible source. This is due to the fact that anyone can have or edit its content. The more credible sources are scientific journals, websites, online encyclopedias, and scholarly databases. That's why on our Google, when we search scholarly articles, those are more reliable compared to those that are not. And last one is you need to give credit when researching online. If you are going to use the information from a source for educational purposes, you need to give the reference to the original author of the page or information and do it properly, okay? And you may use the following format below for online research. You may get the name of the person or organization, the title of the homepage in italics, and URL in the date last. So, in summary of our discussion, most teenagers spend their time online. It is vital to consider that information you share because the internet is a public place. There are several ways to stay safe online, and this is essential that we know and apply them. There are several threats that includes malware, spams, and phishing, and malwares could be in the form of virus, worms, trojans, spyware, or adware. And be careful on these particular threats because it may have great impact on our lives. And we are responsible of what we post online. It is also our responsibility to protect others' reputation. We should be mindful of what we post when others are involved. And copyright laws protects the authors or producers of literary works, photographs, paintings, and others from having their work used without their permission. And it is important for everyone to understand the laws to avoid being sanctioned. And when researching online, remember to narrow down your topic, use advanced search features, look for credible source, and cite your references.